Guys, all in favor? The vote is unanimous. We are now in public session. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, I want to remind everybody that in this venue, we all have to maintain our masking and social distancing, so please adhere to that guidance from New York State. Yeah, Case Charlie Pride Awards.
Up first is Mr. Cabrini.
Thank you. Superintendent Daly and Board of Education, and of course, guests, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, but the real honor is the people that I get to share this award for tonight. And so in order to pick these awards, what we actually did was we found at Paul Road this year for our 5th grade completion ceremony, we really wanted to provide more student voice, and we wanted to make it less adults talking and more about the students talking. And so we asked for some nominations for the GC Pride Award for students and staff, and then we took it to the streets and went to the classrooms to hear exactly what the students' colleagues or their classmates actually thought about the students. And so we asked them, do these students deserve the GC Pride Award and why? So first up, I want to introduce Alexis Barnes, so come on up here. So 3rd grader at Paul Road, and when we went into her classroom, so you're gonna guess who said these, and I'll let you know tomorrow who said it. And we said, does she deserve the GC Pride Award? Here's what it is. These are direct quotes from your classmates. They said, yeah, she totally deserves an award because she is like totally one of the nicest kids in class. Go Alexis. Great job. Somebody said, yeah, she works really hard even if she doesn't know stuff. Somebody else said, I think so. Alexis is amazing to everyone. And another student, this was a really nice one, said, she has compassion because one time I didn't have anyone to talk to at lunch and recess, and she talked to me a lot. So thank you, Alexis. And of course, her teacher, who was the initial person who nominated you, so the first person who nominated you, said that you have great perseverance and dedication in light of any challenge. And so thank you for that attitude. Thank you for being a great Panther, and congratulations. Okay, and so next I went right down the hallway to 5th grade, and Alex, if you can come up, this is Alex Picarazzi. So big day for Alex. It was a 5th grade completion ceremony today, so he gets to celebrate that, and he gets to be here tonight. And here are what your classmates said about you. So they said, he is literally one of the kindest kids I've ever met, and I know a lot of people. Everyone likes him because he treats everyone with respect, which is one of our Spartan values. I definitely think he deserves it because he has compassion for all the people in our school, even if they aren't in his class or his friends. And somebody else said, yeah, I guess. I don't really know him very well, but he's a super hard worker, which is definitely a good quality to have if you're a Panther. And last but not least, somebody said, yes, you might think he's quiet sometimes, but he's actually really funny and cool to hang out with. And your teacher, Mrs. Carson, nominated you first. And the reason she nominated you was because she used these 2 words, natural leader. She said you have great leadership ability. And so thank you, Alex, for being a leader at Paul Road, and thank you for, congratulations. So our 2 students, Alexis and Alex, and we do have a staff member, Mrs. Bohan, so come on up here. This is our last one for the night. So Mrs. Bohan works in our 5th grade classrooms, and so here are some of the things that your students, your colleagues, I guess, said about you. So we went right to the 5th graders, and they said, so yeah, I think she should get an award because she can like keep everyone doing the right thing, but she still smiles a lot, so I know she likes us. Another fifth grader said, yeah, she helps me a lot when I get angry and helps me make a plan so I don't get too mad and yell at people. Awesome. And another one said, I think she should get an award because she always knows what's happening. Like, even if she isn't in school, she'll ask me about what I did the next day. So awesome. And then somebody said, yeah, I mean, she's cool, she's great. So that's a great endorsement. But really the endorsement is from Mr. Hens and myself. You are so dedicated. And when I think of a word to describe you, I think of an advocate for our children. And there's probably nobody better who continues to advocate for kids, whether it's academically or to support them behaviorally. You're a champion for kids. So thank you so much. And congratulations.
All right. Mr. Hamill and I are going to break paradigms a little bit because we like to see everybody when we're talking, and it's very awkward to stand there. So bear with us, please. We are nominating GC Pride Awards for 2 high school students. And it might seem a little odd that I'm an elementary assistant principal and I'm nominating a high school student. However, these 2 young men worked on their Eagle Scout project, and they built a little library bench, and it has been dedicated and is at Florence Grasser Elementary School, which is where I am now. I really wanted to come and present this award to one of these individuals, Cody Mayer, because I have known Cody since before he was born. Way back in 2001, I worked with Cody's mom as we were co-teachers at Greece Athena. And I have known Cody since he was in diapers and running around the halls of Athena Middle School. So I have bought popcorn from Cody at his Boy Scout fundraisers for so many years in a row. And I remember him in middle school being very embarrassed and walking in to my office and bringing me Mary Kay orders and popcorn orders. So I know the Meyer family very well, and this award couldn't go to a better kid. Talk about a hard worker, a devoted individual, and they built a beautiful bench. You can't see it, but on the back of that bench, there's a little door for the library books. And that is actually right by our playground at Grasser. So Cody, stand up and come up here. And your friend is going to come up as well with Mr. Hamill.
Jonathan, you might as well come on up too. So, we're always preaching about ways to bring the Spartan way to life. And I think that, when you have kids that are committed and respectful and really understand that stewardship is the way to build communities and communication and dedication. These guys for being Boy Scouts and where they are and getting all the way up through to Eagle, it's an amazing feat. And, I find it very unfortunate that more kids are participating in these kind of activities and these kind of services. But I'm going to be honest, it takes hard work. These guys are committed. They're the kind of kids that are going to be leaders in the future for us. And again, they are the kind of people that are bringing the Spartan way to life. And I couldn't be more proud. We've got sort of the older statesman, the younger statesman here. But again, to have these kind of leaders in our building is a great sign for Gage Charlie. And I just want to say congratulations to both. Jonathan, congrats.
Goes Dr. Irvin.
All right, I guess I'll return back to the podium. It is my honor to recognize Dr. Jackie Dennison, who is back there. I'll have her sit for a moment, I'll speak, and then I'll have her come up so she doesn't have to stand next to me. But it's a privilege to work with Jackie Dennison. She is our medical director, and we really have a luxury here in Gage Tri-Life with having a medical director that is in-house, that we have availability to day in and day out. We can meet with her in person. Dr. Jackie Dennison plays a pivotal role in supporting our nurses and our health aides. Obviously, during a pandemic, that role expands. Jackie's played a huge role in interpreting our guidance and helping us put Gates Chi in a safe space and supporting our students and staff. This year, I was looking at numbers for our daily health surveys. And it really speaks to not only our district nurses, but also our health aides and our attendance clerks that help monitor that data, communicate throughout the entire buildings, increase temperature checks to make our space as safe as possible. The numbers today, we had almost 1 million daily health surveys sent out. So throughout the course of the entire school year, with approximately 5,000 going out a day, our nurses, our health aides, our attendance clerks helped monitor that, communicate that throughout the building, and through Jackie's leadership, we were able to make sure we were a safe space for students and staff to learn. So without any more punishment, I will, and she did that while finishing her dissertation and completing her doctorate this year as well too. So without further ado, I'd just like to recognize Dr. Jackie Dennison. Yes, please.
Mrs. Phillips?
Mr. Daly and Ford, thanks for having me. So I want to recognize Obie Burton. She's worked for us at School Nutrition for many years. She actually retired last year and then kindly came back and worked this year with us. It was definitely needed, given all the challenges with COVID. She worked very, very hard. She's the backbone at Paul Road School in the kitchen there. She's very hardworking. She keeps the staff laughing, which I'm sure some of the other Paul Road people could attest to. And she's very kind with our students. She's going to work with us through the summer, getting all the kids in the community fed, and then she will be retiring again. And we definitely want to recognize her. She brings a lot of pride to our department. So thank you for helping me recognize Obie Burton.
Thank you, President Potensky, and thank you, Gates Charlie Board of Education, for joining me in acknowledging our final GC Pride Award for the evening. My name is Eva Petrosino, and I'm the Director of Communication. This GC Pride Award is a surprise, and it goes to Yugo Iwamoto for his extraordinary contributions to the district. For just a few more days, Yugo is an intern in the Communications Department. Last month, Yugo graduated from SUNY Rockport with his degree in Tourism, Marketing, and Communication. Since January, he has dedicated hundreds of hours to showcasing the students and staff of our amazing district. And we'll do so again tomorrow for our Marathon Graduation Day. In the several months he spent as a Spartan, Yugo was closely involved with all aspects of district communication, including event coverage, social media management, and so much more. He hit the ground running and quickly established himself as a trusted and skilled professional. He was always looking for new and fun ways to celebrate our students, our staff, and their achievements. He formed connections with teachers and other staff in order to share the great things happening in our classrooms every day. He would often come back to the office after having visited a school building, and he just couldn't wait to tell me about how amazing our students were or how supportive our staff were. He always spoke about our district with such GC pride. So while this week marks Yugo's last as a Gates Charlie Spartan, we all know the saying, once a Spartan, always a Spartan. So it is with great GC pride that I present Yugo Iwamoto with a GC Pride Award.
All winners, if you could come downstairs for a group picture, we'd appreciate it right now. All Mrs. Petrosino.
Thank you.
Superintendent Bailey.
All right, on behalf of the Monroe County Council of School Superintendents, I am proud to announce Gates Child Lives recipient of the Michael C. O'Laughlin Outstanding Senior Award this year is Blake Siplin. The award is presented to one senior from each of the 41 high schools in Monroe County. It's named for longtime educator Dr. Michael C. O'Laughlin, who is remembered as a respected leader possessing an amazing ability to motivate and connect with students. In that vein, students are selected for this recognition based on academics, leadership, and service. And Blake certainly fits the bill. He is a member of the football and basketball teams and played a key role in winning a Section 5 championship for basketball. He is a member of the peer leadership team that volunteers many hours to improving our school and community. Outside of school, Blake is also an active member of his church. Blake and his 40 outstanding peers from across the county will be honored in a television program that will air this coming Monday, June 28th at 7 p.m. on Fox Rochester, Cable Channel 7, and simultaneously on 13wham.com. On up, Blake.
Agenda changes.
Yes, we've had agenda changes in personnel and in the bids.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Bailey. Moving on to board president comments. I wanted to take a moment to thank the entire high school team for planning 2 full graduation ceremonies, beginning to end. One graduation ceremony planning is a pretty intense topic to take up on its own, but you managed to actually do 2. One when the sun is out and one when it's raining. And I, myself and the board, want to thank you for the extra effort and care and attention that you put into that task this year. I also want to thank the middle school and elementary teams for creating a space and time to celebrate each class's accomplishments and celebrating their advancement as they find new friends, see new teaching teams, participate in new environment, and embrace new learning experiences. Each year we celebrate our graduation and acknowledge the page turn in their lives. This experience that they've had for the last 14 years. This has been their stable base in their daily existence, and now they're moving on to college, work, life walkabout, and we all wish them the best in their journey going forward. Thank you very much. Board President comments. Moving on to points of interest. Points of interest this evening. Seeing none. Moving on. Recorded meetings. Mr. Moscato.
I'm part of the Monroe County School Board Association Legislative Committee, and the committee's job is to help advocate all of our state representatives, federal representatives, and also members of the Board of Regents. We had our last meeting on June 9th with 2 members of our Board of Regents, Regent Norwood and Regent Turner, and we discussed several different issues. Just to touch on a couple of them, One was the issue of remote learning. What was their position on what would happen next year if we had a groundswell of parents who did not want to send their kids to school? And they were in support of that. They really felt that we should be back in school. And they were going to try to do what they could to ensure that that happened. We also talked about the issue of teachers and teacher shortages, things like that. And they did recognize that they needed to take a good hard look at certification issues. It's always something that is hard to do quite often. There's some opposition by different groups, but we have a lot of talented people in our community who could be teachers, but just don't have the time or the wealth to go through the years of courses and things like that. So those are two things we encourage them to really look at more than anything else. And then we'll pick up again in September.
Thank you very much. Other reports of meetings? Okay, thank you. Moving on to visitors' comments. Before we begin, the Gates Chalet Central School District Board of Education invites public comment at this time. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. We ask that individuals state their name and address prior to comments and utilize the podium microphone to address the board. Although the board will not respond directly to individual comments at this time, items brought to the attention of the board may be taken under consideration for future response or action. In order to comply with the laws related to confidentiality, we ask that issues related to specific school district personnel or students be brought to the attention of the superintendent of school privately. The board reserves the right to terminate a speaker's comments if his or her comments are in excess of 3 minutes, are repetitive, or are not appropriate for discussion in an open public forum. I would also like to make note that if we're going to be timing, and if at the end of 3 minutes the alarm goes off, that you wrap up your comments. And if you haven't completed your comments at that time, you can follow up with an email to me or the full board. We do read our emails. It's important that we hear your feedback, and we're adhering to the guidelines that I've stated. Thank you.
Good evening, and I'm going to apologize if I mispronounce. I'm not sure if it's Sherry or Sheree.
It's Cherie.
Sheree?
Yeah.
Sheree Stoller, you may come forward.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me this evening. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherry Stuhler. I have lived in Gates for 17 years. My address is on file. I have put many children through this district and have also worked in many of your buildings, so I have a unique perspective as a community member, a parent, and a staff member. We have one of the most diverse districts around. However, as we focus on only what is deemed minority, we have forgotten the others. We are no longer celebrating Christmas, but rather have Pajama Day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Pajama Day, but am I and others not allowed to celebrate Christmas? I am all for teaching and learning other cultures and traditions, but no one side should be more important than another. After all, isn't that true diversity and inclusion? We say we need to have compassion and respect for all, but we do not practice it. I worked with a student who during Black History Month asked how come we don't have a White History Month, a simple question that offered a simple answer and a learning opportunity. But instead, he had multiple teachers roll their eyes at him and call him a racist. He wasn't and is not a racist. He simply asked a valid question to which he never got an answer. We now allow gay pride flags to be worn through our hallways and BLM drawings and signs, but we can't say anything about supporting our police. I ask again, how is this teaching inclusion and diversity? I am by no means anti-anything, but I am sure after this speech I will be called such, and I am okay with that. You may have your opinion, and I may have mine. And I vow I will still be the first to smile and help you regardless. I do, however, want to offer a different thought for you. Is it not our duty and obligation as educators to stand up and fight for all children? Is it not our duty to call upon each other to check ourselves and reflect and see all sides? It is not our job to impose our beliefs or thoughts upon our children. Rather, it is our job to teach both sides without bias and encourage children to think on their own critically without bias. If we are going to continue to focus on our social, emotional health and learning, isn't it imperative that we do this for all students? Every student deserves to feel safe and heard at school. Therefore, every side needs to have a voice equally. As this year began, we worried about how our students' social, emotional health would be. We questioned how we could show them that we cared without seeing our faces or being able to give them a high five or a hug. When did this change to making some feel isolated and alone? We have many staff and students from all walks of life in this district, and each one is just as important as the next. We all deserve to work in a safe, respectful, and supportive environment. In closing, I respectfully request that true transparency be provided to parents and community members on curriculum, budgets, as well as events, as this is true inclusion for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tara Pierotti.
Pretty good.
Okay. I was like, I'll send it right back. You don't want to.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is Tara Prederotti. I live at 6 Charlene Drive. Kind of just thinking of I wrote down some things. Encouraging the board and the district to be a little bit more inclusive of the community. Yesterday's survey came out about how to use the COVID money. And even that, went out initially where you can only respond if you had a Gage Child email address. It had a lot of educational jargon in it. And, there were some things that were set forth it seems like the ideas were already put forth. You weren't really looking for community input. You were looking for a vote or something. I don't know what it was, but definitely not community input. I'm concerned about next year. I think we need to start planning for next year yesterday or long ago. I was a little concerned that Mr. Riscato said that the legislative folks weren't going to be working during the summer. Come on, there's no way that this district is going to be open if we do not get something happen in New York State. Speaking of legislation, what I might suggest that you do, I've been thinking about this all year, of course, is that you guys go full court press on requiring our elected representatives to strip Governor Cuomo of his executive powers. From what I hear all year long, it's Governor Cuomo says no, Governor Cuomo says no. And think about the most recent debacle with the masking issue. It was put forward, and then Governor Cuomo said no, and everybody jumps. And those districts that didn't jump, they were threatened, as evidenced by Mr. Haley's email. They were threatened with repercussions if they did not comply. So our legislators need to get to work, and they need to strip Governor Cuomo of his powers. And so I encourage those of you who are involved in the legislative portion of this to do that. I myself have contacted the district and the board on many occasions. I've never received anything more than we got your message. But what I ask you is, did you really get my message? What I and many others are asking for is that you care and allow families the opportunity to be part of our children's education. The district and the board treat families with scorn and contempt. You treat us, what you should do is treat us as partners. That's the only way that this is going to work. You say that the board meetings are not for the public. When is it time for the public? Again, I've reached out to the board, the district on many, many occasions, nothing back of any kind of substance. So I encourage you to have some type of meaningful community forum. So if the board meetings are not it, create a time so that the community can be heard, that they can have their questions addressed. And I encourage you to do that because right now we're missing out on a huge opportunity to engage Child because of the way that the district treats the parents in the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Lena and Marvin Stephenson.
Hi, I'm Lena Pride Stepperson. This is my husband, Marvin Stepperson. Our address is on file. I'm here to express a concern with regard to my daughter, Carmen Stepperson, who sustained a very serious concussion during a lacrosse game. The care that was given to my child after she sustained the concussion was unacceptable. She was not seen by a trainer. It wasn't documented that she had a goose egg that anyone could see on her forehead. It's been 6 weeks. 6 weeks, she's still experiencing the effects of a concussion. She has an appointment at the concussion clinic. And the communication that was received, that was exchanged between the school and her family is unacceptable. I question why the girls lacrosse team is not provided with protective headgear. The boys lacrosse team has protective headgear. I asked the question, I was told that it's in accordance with Section 5 standards, and that if a girl wanted to wear protective headgear, it was optional. Is the protective headgear for the boys lacrosse team optional? What is the message that we're sending to our female students when you take the time to have them wear a skirt as part of their uniform, but protective headgear is optional? Why is Gates Chili okay with gender bias? And what's the message that we're sending to our female students about their bodies and their brains?
I would just like to say, before the season started, I did mention that to the coach, that I had concerns with the young ladies not wearing headgear. And then for May 18th, the day before my birthday, my daughter sustained a concussion at the game that I watched. My reality of my fears came to fruition. The referee didn't stop the play. The trainer of that school didn't come out to my daughter. And when we came back to Gates Child, she had a goose egg on her head. She's been out from school, but yet the attendance was not communicated with, so they were marking her absent even though I had called and we had left paperwork from the doctor's office saying she had a concussion. She's supposed to take tests at the end of the year. She could barely concentrate. She was wearing shades inside the house. We're going to physical therapy. So like my wife said, I sat on this board for 3 years, and it was all about fighting for the children and for the staff and for the teachers and for everyone at the school district. And for my daughter to come up with an injury like this, I fear that other children will be exposed to this. And so if we can look at a way to partition Section 5 to change that for all the students, then it wouldn't be something like this to just fall on deaf ears. So I appreciate your time, and I hope that this will move something forward for our children to be safe participating in sports.
Thank you very much. Moving on to finance and facility update.
Thank you. So our meeting was on Monday, June 14th. The Finance Facility and Audit Committee we talked about the Office of the State Comptroller's tax cap audit, noting that the comptroller found after a thorough investigation of our tax cap calculation or tax levy limit calculation, that there were no errors or issues with the calculation. So they found us to have done the calculation accurately and appropriately. During the facility portion of the meeting, we talked about the 2021 capital project update. We spoke about preliminary meetings and talked about meetings that were had with building principals, architects, looking at past project scope, and the building condition survey that was just completed this week. We talked a little bit about the building condition survey, just saying that it was being finalized. It is now finalized and we are in the review process. In the finance section, we talked about fund balance, noting that Eastern Gear funding for the federal funds that are coming through, we need to create a plan. And we talked a little bit about fund balance as it relates to the federal funding and how it will impact funding. Tonight on the agenda, there's a motion talking about any additional funds and what reserves those monies would be recommended to go into. We talked about the school district income verification process. This is a process whereby properties are looked at and determined whether or not they're in our district, and that helps us when looking at our state aid. And then we talked a little bit more about the federal funding again, and just noting that we're going to have the plans in place for the regulations. And that was the extent of the meeting. Thank you. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on to consensus items. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion, please. Dr. Richards and Mr. Moscato. Questions or comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on, motion to approve consensus items B through J. Motion, please. Dr. Richards, Mike Daly, questions or comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to action items. Michaela.
Thank you. We would just like to acknowledge Lisa Rick's retirement. The board just acted on the personnel actions. Mrs. Rick has been with the district for 17 years, and she has decided that it is time to retire. She served as a cook for us in many different buildings and capacities in her time with the district, and we wish her well. Thank you for her service.
Thank you very much. Moving on. Action items. Motion to approve the superintendent's contract for Christopher Daly. Motion, please. Dr. Richards. Ms. Kies, questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you very much. The vote is unanimous. Motion to transfer year-end surplus to reserves as of June 30th, 2021. Motion, please. Ms. Munson? And Mr. Bailey, Mr. Mike Bailey. Questions or comments? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion to approve Section 5 NCPSA Beach Skyline East Rochester merger. Motion, please. Mr. Long and Ms. Coffey, questions or comments? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion to approve the attached summer hours for various aides, teachers, and other support staff. Motion, please. Dr. Richards and Ms. Coffey, questions or comments? All in favor? Right. Vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion to approve John Munson for appointment of math department leader and 6 through 12 curriculum leader for 2021, 2022. Motion, please. Mr. Long? Mr. Andy Bailey, questions or comments? All in favor? All approved with one abstention? Yes. Thank you very much. Motion to appoint William Bennett as Chief Emergency Officer for the remainder of the 2020-21 school year. Motion, please. Ms. Pies? Mr. Long, questions or comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to superintendent comments.
I was hoping to.
You speak clearly and loudly.
Better shot. Okay, we made it. Tomorrow we get to celebrate our seniors. It's been a long year, an opportunity year, and a year that I don't think anyone will forget. Oh, yes, please. I want to start by thanking everybody, our administration that worked throughout this summer to try and reinvent how we do things within the constraints that we were given. Our outstanding faculty and staff that adapted consistently throughout the year. There are no classes, well, there are now, but prior to this, there were no classes in how you get through something like this. And as a team, we worked together. Our outstanding families that found ways to support learning in ways they never thought they would have to. And then working in conjunction with us to make the best of a difficult situation. And our school community at large has really stepped up. They have come in and helped us and provided opportunities for our students and staff and worked alongside us in this pandemic time. And lastly, our Board of Education. When people share that, that you work for them, they have to remember this is a volunteer position. You get paid nothing, but you give your time, you give your heart, and you give your soul. You give everything for one thing, and it's our kids. And we can't thank you enough. The role you played this year was significant because no one has really ever had to live through something like this recently. And your stewardship of our district is appreciated. You stuck with it even through the most difficult times, and we've come out on the end as we get to celebrate tomorrow our seniors. So needless to say, this has impacted all our lives in our school community in one way or another. And for years to come, it will, but it slowly will get better. We had to develop hybrid and remote learning, something that we had never really thought of before as far as being something that would last all year. The term synchronous and asynchronous lessons, something that really developed over time. And it was something that our staff, unlike many other districts, adapted to as quick as possible and got through the year with. Masks. When people say they're sick of masks, I understand. It's something that we've had to adapt to. It's not something that we're used to, but it's something that too, in time, will be able to go away. These zones and how they change things. It used to be red zone was really bad, and then we were in an orange zone. One day we were in a yellow zone, and now we're in a blue or some other color zone that allows us actually to have more normal interactions, yet not yet quite perfect. And for some reason, still our schools are held to a higher standard than any other industry in our state. Nasal swabs. That was not something fun. When I did the demonstration video, that just was not good. And if you talked to me in the summer that we would become a testing site, I would have laughed at you because they'd never done that before. But now they're asking us more than ever to get involved in allowing people access to vaccines and to testing. The term quarantine, having our students and staff from time to time having to experience that, and getting the lists every day and realizing the true impact this has had on our area of Gates Chi-Li. And then positive cases and adapting to that and its impact within the classroom, within our schools, within our halls, within our fields. And then the vaccination and the impacts from that as we get closer and closer to the end of the year. Our staff currently, out of our 800 employees, are at about a 68% vaccination rate of our employees. So some highlights. A lot of good did go on in 2020-21 with equity and inclusion. So we were able to provide laptops for every single student, and for families that needed it, over 100 Wi-Fi hotspots to help them adapt to this new learning environment. We served nearly 240,000 free meals throughout the school year and over breaks. We held student and staff equity challenges at Brasser and at the high school. And throughout our district, we had equity-minded book studies offered to students and staff throughout the year. For professional learning, nearly 100 staff members participated in an intensive 4-day equity training. Each of our school improvement teams and building staff meetings have included PD focused on our equity and culturally responsive practices. And we engaged our teachers in training related to CRE and the impact of meeting the needs of all students in an equitable manner. And we increased our focus on a culturally aware educational experience as far as text, language, empathy and understanding, discipline, access, and home support. So our strategic plan for equity kicked off, and with a district-wide presentation video and our executive summary. We were thrilled when over 150 stakeholders volunteered to join one of our district's 12 strategic plan committees to implement it. The involvement has been very, very positive. And our highlights was student-centered learning in its new environment. We were able to research and provide professional development in piloting our Sunday systems to support our learners struggling with their reading disabilities. We gained a deeper understanding of MTSS with the goal to shift mindsets from using the process to get a student classified to one where we can support them to eliminate the needs for that classification. We consulted on the creation and implementation of our FBAs and our BIPs with our district behavioral specialists and school psychologists. And we provided support, guidance, and PD to our special educators of K-5 remote students with IEPs to ensure they had that differential learning materials that they need every day. We've expanded our elementary buildings classroom and library book collections to add books that Black and Brown students can connect with. We gave clear guidance and communication on making Schoology the hub for all instruction, to make it a one-stop shop. We utilize the talents and expertise of our innovation coaches and teacher leadership to increase our capacity, share resources, and engage all our learners. And if any of you have been involved in the pickup and drop off of materials and supplies at the board office, the work that Mrs. Kuhn, Mrs. Eugene, and their team did to organize that, to keep our remote learners engaged and their families supplied was outstanding. Taking over our boardroom and then the process they put in for the families that couldn't get there, where our bus drivers volunteered in their off hours to go and drop them off to families that couldn't get there, was another great way of showing that we were here for all. As far as social and emotional wellness, we increased our home visits and access for students and parents to our mental health team members, counselors, teachers, and administrators. And community circles became a part of our culture to help us break down things that are going on, discuss it, and have clear communication. Some achievements and celebrations this year. As far as our COVID-19 response, due to the outstanding work that we did with our families, our staff, and faculty and administration, we created an environment where we had 0 class, grade level, or building shutdowns due to COVID-19. We're one of the few districts that can say that. We began the year with 66% of our students hybrid with 33% remote, one of the highest in the Monroe County area. And then we created our hybrid and remote learning environments that adapted over time to every time New York State changed something. Sometimes it was the quality Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock, we get something that's got to be implemented by Monday. Sometimes they gave us a couple weeks, but each time we worked hand in hand with our staff to make the best of these situations as much as possible. We recognized 78 individuals this year, including students, staff, and retirees and community members with GC Pride Awards. We focused on transparency and budget development with our first year with budget ambassadors, and then with Dr. Ball and Mrs. Petrosino, creating the bidded budget with Dr. Ball to break down what we do and try and explain a little bit better, not using schoolies, as someone suggested to me the other day, or the good old academic language. But yes, trying to put it so that everyone can understand what we're doing and how we do it. And we were able this year to stream the athletic contests, events, and BOE meetings live online. We had families from across the country being able to watch their kids, nephews, nieces, grandchildren playing contests here in Rochester due to this, which is pretty neat. This year, we were able to hire 16 new faculty and staff members and administrators with diverse backgrounds so far. And again, we're in the middle of hiring right now that will continue right up through the end of August. We're real proud, and today we picked up 2 of the awards from the top workplaces where we were recognized for our diversity as one of the top places in Rochester for the diversity award, as well as being one of the top large businesses in Rochester. So pretty proud that we were able to do that during a pandemic year. And on top of that, in the end, we also were recognized nationally by Top Workplaces USA. So some other reasons to celebrate. We were able to complete construction at the middle school. As you can see in the top right corner, that's the view looking up into our new auditorium. Work is going to be completed at Disney and Armstrong this summer. Their new wings opened up now, and then further work being done there to finish for the fall. Our Performing Arts Center is going to be something. We toured it before our last board meeting, and it's really starting to come together. It's going to be a great place to celebrate our great students and their talents. So far, we've had 70 athletes earn Monroe County All-County designation, with the end of the season still coming for our spring. We had sectional titles in indoor track and field, and our boys basketball team won. And something we're really proud of is 160 varsity scholar athlete awards. That means kids that are doing well in the classroom and doing well on the field or ice or court. So that's just great to see kids doing well. So some areas of strength this year that we can improve upon still. Our unique and diverse culture. We have great kids, great staff. The pride our community has in our schools is second to none. And we are at the center of remarkable potential. We've learned a lot this year about what we're good at. We also learned a lot of things that we have areas to improve upon. And we're ready to do that. We have world-class facilities. And when you talk about our kids, you talk about our Spartan values. And that they exhibit that every day. We got to see it tonight with our GC Pride Awards and our Eagle Scouts. The family atmosphere we're trying to create, that we take care of each other. This year, more than any, we've had to really find ways as people were dealing with so much outside of school, as well as what was going on inside. To say our administration, faculty, and staff are dedicated is to undersell them. They have done an unbelievable job this year in a no-win situation. They found ways to win each day. And this guy too. I'll get loud. Yes, and we've learned we can advance in technology as well in getting better microphones. That work? It's like, oh.
Excellent.
So we've been able to create a lot of advanced learning opportunities that we didn't consider before due to COVID and the ability to do things online. And again, I can't wait to see how we come out of this with our support for art, music, and athletics. to get kids back doing what they truly enjoy doing is going to be so wonderful. And to see our kids able to compete this spring and throughout the year in one form or another has been excellent. I can't wait till we can do that in our arts and our music as well. Our continuing education program has found ways to adapt this year to reach out to our community during this time. And our efforts to get involved in our community in different aspects with volunteer hours and doing what we can to help during this time has been a real good area of growth. And again, our Board of Education has been tireless in their efforts to find the best way through an extremely difficult year. So areas we need to continue to improve upon. We are going to recruit and hire diverse employees. We are out there working every day. Our Human Resources Department is doing innovative things to try and find people to bring in here to help us get better. We're hopeful that with COVID on the wane that we'll be able to increase participation for our kids in interscholastic and extracurricular activities. Kids that are involved come to school. We're going to get them involved so that we continue to improve. And again, our outstanding communications department every day is putting out the great things that are occurring here. We will improve the negative perception of our schools that is out there in the Rochester area. And we are doing a great job of getting that message out. We'll continue to target innovative ways to get our graduation rate improving each year, meeting our kids where they are and pushing them to be the best they can be. And we're offering more advanced learning opportunities at the elementary level going forward to really engage all students where they are and pushing them. And we need to continue to grow social emotional support for our students. And we will continue to do that, and that's where we've been pushing for going into next school year. So what a year. We've learned a lot. We've lived through a lot, and we've done it together. It has not been perfect in any way, shape, or form. But the thing that comes back in the end is that we were able to keep our students focused first and make the best of what we could do. And we'll continue to do that. Tomorrow, I am so excited to celebrate our seniors with commencement in our ceremonies. And again, credit to the high school. They had to plan 2 ceremonies, meaning we have 4 ceremonies tomorrow, but they have to plan an indoor and an outdoor based on the weather that is unpredictable in our area. And they're ready to go either way. And on Friday, we get to say goodbye to our retirees with our retiree parade at the high school bus loop. So we have 2 great groups moving on that have made huge impacts on us here in Gates Tri-Li, and will continue to. And as we're preparing for the fall, as we have been since through the spring, we are ready to go. We're going to be ready to adapt so that we can get our kids back 5 days per week, get them back ready into a normal environment as much as possible, and we're ready to go. We are working tirelessly to get there because we know our kids deserve it, and our community deserves it, and our staff deserve it. And we will get there. We will find a way. So that is my end of year report. But before we end it, we have a couple people, special people, we got to say thank you to for their dedication to our district. First would be a board member who snuck out. So Andy, we will not say it yet. Hopefully, no, now he comes back. Mr. Andy Bailey, man of timing. We had our kids in wood shop create something that as board members retired to remember us by. So they created on themselves a special thank you to school board member Andy Bailey. So something to keep. Thank you for all you've done, serving on several committees. We went by the king of Excel, and you always asked great questions and made sure we were doing the right thing. Thank you for your dedication to kids and the community of Gates Tri-Li. You will be missed.
Thank you. Phenomenal. I love woodworking. So
There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, kid's good. And she thought she would be able to sneak out. The legendary interim superintendent twice, associate superintendent for curriculum instruction,
Mrs. Carol Stenham, come on down. So Mrs. Stenham is retiring at the end of the month. She has made such a huge impact on our district. We can't thank you enough for all the things you've done. The board got you a couple things.
God bless you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Carol.
Thank you.
Carol's
Of course, make
vision.
me cry.
Oh, great, every time.
Yeah.
Carol's vision and dedication to this district was second to none. She cared about every single kid and where they were going, and she put programs in place that will long outlive her leaving here and retiring. Now, Kara, being a giver, retires from here at the end of June, and if you don't know, Hilton has asked her to be the interim principal at their school to help heal that school because of Carol's outstanding skill set and great leadership. So she will be going out there to help Hilton heal the day after retirement from us for a while so that they can continue to get better from this awful situation going through. But Carol is a tremendous asset to everybody. She just, her ability to see the good in people and to find ways through very difficult situations that end in win-win, you just don't come across every day. And we can't thank you for all you've done for every student that's come through here and every staff member you've taken care of and every shoulder that you gave to people when they needed it. You truly exemplify what being a Spartan is. So thank you for all you've done, and we will be calling you.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor, and I've truly enjoyed my 10 years here, and just can't thank you enough for all of the opportunities that you have provided for me. And it's just a special place in my heart, will always be Gates Chi-Li. So thank you so very, very much. I really thought I got away with this and wouldn't be crying again.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll give you this part back. That is my report, sir.
Thank you. On that note, motion to adjourn. Mr. Mike Bailey and Dr. Richards? No? Okay. I stand corrected, Andy Bailey, second that. All in favor? The vote is unanimous, we are adjourned.